Happy Saturday, everyone. FPL is back. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done this. Feels like forever I've sat in front of this camera on a live stream. I hope everyone's doing well. Had a good international break and ready for some Premier League action. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know what you've been up to during the international break. I was just making lots of YouTube videos, to be completely honest. Good to see you, Victor, mate. Really butchered your name, which is really simple to say. How are you, mate? Looks like YouTube have done a little update on my streaming interface as well, so I can actually see all the messages I get sent now, which is a boost. Victor and Dan, good to have you both in here. I think both of you are... Oh, Alexandra as well. Good to see you too, mate. What else? What is there to say? What is there to say? Well, it is good trying to cope with exams soon. You'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine. Although I'm probably the worst person in the world to give exam advice because I think I only ever actually studied for 2 of them. The rest I just did based off my memory, and it didn't go very well. I just really struggled with, focusing at home, really, to revise. I had too many distractions. So, learn from my mistakes, mate. Try and get rid of all your distractions, including if you need to stop watching YouTube, do that as well, mate. Put yourself first. What is there to say? Well, my team currently is lit up like a Christmas tree with injuries. Udogi was confirmed fit by Ange, so that was some good news. And then Emiliano Martinez, my goalkeeper, got flagged. Matty Cash is flagged. In fact, I'll show you quickly. There you go, you should be able to see that. So we've got 4 flags, including Jared Bowen. I'm really not sure what to do with Bowen. It wouldn't be a Saturday stream without me having a sneeze, would it? In terms of Bowen, I am not going to sell him because I think Archer can be on the bench and be just fine, but I wouldn't captain him. Oh, it's so annoying. It's whenever I start talking on a Saturday, I just keep sneezing. I don't know what happens. It's every stream, man. What's going on? I just get too excited. So yeah, don't know what to do with Bowen. And well, I do know what to do with Bowen in my end. I'm going to keep him, but I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be rushing him out. But likewise, Alexandra, I don't think there's a justification to captain him. I did like him as a differential, but I just don't think you can trust it. If you can't trust him to start, well, I guess the thing is, you could still have the armband on Bowen, couldn't you? And then select another vice captain. I guess it's probably worth just, in your mind, if he doesn't start, is he going to come on and get some minutes? Because I reckon he either starts or he doesn't feature at all. That would be my view on it. So you could give him the armband and then just have a sensible vice captain. I need to change my captain to who I think is the best. There we go. Juntal, thank you, mate. And Faisal, good to see you. So yeah, that's my team. What I'll do, I've got all the top players for expected points by position. I'll go through that. I've got my score predictions, clean sheet odds. I'll have a look at people's teams in Draft Hound that want a little team rating or a bit of thoughts from me. And then I've done a little quiz. Sneak preview to, I don't know, I've made some of the questions a little bit rogue. That's my first question in the quiz, so when we can get to that in a second. Who is the 4th highest scorer midfielder at FPL? I'm really excited to do the quiz. Are you anywhere similar to me, Lick? Look at that. I got 4. I don't quite win with 5, to be fair. I think I'd start Matty Cash. He's got the most threat going forwards. Like in terms of attacking threat. Why did I put Man City? What is going on? All my score predictions are wrong. What? I think my score predictions didn't copy across properly. Please ignore the score predictions that I have put in. That's really strange. Maybe it didn't load properly. Hang on. Bear with. I'll just see if I can get the graphics up again. Don't ignore those. Ignore those. They're wrong. What I can maybe do is just copy in the fixtures. Can I do that? And we'll talk about them. Boo Boo, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't start Palmer and Gordon, to be honest. I think they're perfectly fine. Burnley 5, yeah, no, it's the wrong scores. I took a screenshot somewhere of all the games. So my plan was just to stick that on screen and then we can talk through them if I can find them. No, we're going to improvise. I'll put the fixtures up, and then we can talk about the scores rather than look at my predictions. There we go. I think the graphics that I did, I obviously saved the fixtures this week, but the scores that I inputted onto the screen didn't save. Right, you should be able to see that. Yeah, there you go. Scores from last week. Yeah, I don't think it saved it when I did it. I was sat on the train with like limited Wi-Fi when I was doing the graphics for that, so that might have been what happened. Right, we'll look at the fixtures. I don't have the scores, but we'll talk through it. So Man City and Liverpool, I've spoken about it on a few YouTube videos I have done. Obviously, it's the early kickoff, so that does raise some questions. And both teams have a couple of South American players that have obviously travelled long distances and come in a bit late, right? But historically, the Man City-Liverpool game is a high-scoring fixture. Both teams usually score. I reckon it's going to be a reasonably high-scoring game. Although, because it's at the Etihad, I think Man City just have the edge. I'm going to say 3-2 or, 3-2 Man City, although my second favourite score was 2-1 Man City as Trini Guna cracked in there. No, by the way, the old score predictions were not for real. Burnley and West Ham, even without, if Bowen plays, I reckon West Ham score a few goals, 3-0. If Bowen doesn't play, I reckon they score 1 or 2. I think it entirely depends on Bowen. I reckon, 3-0 if Bowen plays, and then 2 or 1-0 if he doesn't. Luton and Crystal Palace, I reckon Luton could get a result in this game, but I don't see a way that Crystal Palace don't score. So I reckon if I were to put a score down, it'd probably be 1-1. Newcastle and Chelsea. Ooh, that's a really tough one because Newcastle are in a bit of a tough spot with injuries at the moment. But it's at St James's Park, which is a really big factor for Newcastle. And I always find, I don't know about you guys, but I always find that Newcastle kind of play up to the level of the play to the level of the opposition, if that makes sense. So they struggle against like the crap sides in the nicest way possible. And then, well, don't struggle, but they scrape results against the poor sides. Then also scrape results against the good sides. But they play well against the good sides. So I'm going to go 2-2 for that game. Forest and Brighton, I reckon Brighton win that 2-1 would be my prediction there. Sheffield United and Bournemouth, I reckon Sheffield United could win that game. I'm going to say 2-1. The Brentford v Arsenal, I reckon Arsenal 3-2. 3-2 would be my prediction for that game. Spurs and Villa, I think both teams are going to score. Without Van de Ven in defence, I think Spurs are a lot weaker than they have been. For that reason, I reckon... I'd say 2-2, because I reckon Villa can do a bit of damage on the counter-attack, but likewise Spurs are good going forwards. Even without Maddison, they'll score goals. I'm going to say 2-2 for that game. Everton and Man United, I've got a feeling Everton win this game. There's a big narrative, obviously, with their points deduction and everything around Everton. Being at home, their first game since that points reduction against Man United, a team that have been doing decent in terms of results. But yeah, not been playing very well. I reckon Everton could win that game. As a Man United fan myself, I reckon they could. I reckon they win that 2-1. Fulham v Wolves, I'm going to say 2-1 to Wolves. That'd be my score prediction for that. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry that the graphics weren't sorted properly. That's my end. Just got to blow my nose. Sorry about that, guys. I just have FPL allergies on a Saturday morning every time. It's really annoying. All right, so we've got the top players by position for expected points. I'll go through these quickly because there's lots of questions coming in the chat, and I want to try and get to them. So yeah, goalkeepers. Apparently, the top goalkeeper this week, despite my score prediction, is Sam Johnston. Obviously, Palace have played quite well defensively. He's got quite a few saves, and they've got Luton away as their fixture. So I think it's a decent fixture for a decent team and a goalkeeper that makes a decent amount of saves. So all those things added up, I think, sell a decent story of a potential clean sheet. I think same with Leno, really. He's good for saves. Same with Neto, good for saves and a good fixture. And then you've got all the usual goalkeepers after that. I think every week Trippier is the top defender, apart from when Liverpool have got a super easy fixture. So yeah, Chelsea at home. But he's only just ahead of 2 Arsenal guys, ahead of Crystal Palace guys. Then you got Kufal, Dalot, Guehi, Zuma, Castagna. That's your list of defenders. Midfielders, Salah is top, 6.8 expected points, just ahead of Saka. Son, Bowen's in there. You know, he's one of the top midfielders. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to start, but he's up there, assuming he does. Rashford's up there, Adingra, Martinelli, Bruno Fernandes, Matoma, and Diaby. And then the forwards, we got Haaland, Watkins, Alvarez. I mean, it's all the names you'd expect. I think someone asked a question about Darwin Núñez. For me, Klopp likes to bench him when he gets back from international break, but I would say it's on like a case-by-case basis, depending on like when he's recently played, what kind of physical condition he's in, etc., etc. So I would say I'm on the fence as to whether he plays, to be honest. He could come off the bench, of course, and I guess off the bench he can be dangerous, can't he? For me, the captaincy this week was between Haaland and Salah. I know I've seen Alexandru fancying Bowen, which is fair enough. But for me, I think, given that the Man City-Liverpool game is usually reasonably high scoring, I think you've got to look at their 2 talisman. And when you look at the underlying numbers and all the stats, etc., it's really close. I know Haaland comes out on top, but I think the way, obviously Salah's been a midfielder in FPL, right? It's the most basic thing to say, but he scores more points for goals than Haaland does. So I know Haaland's got slightly better stats, but I think that, you know, evens out due to the fact that Salah gets more points for scoring. And then I think it comes down to the fixture. Obviously they play each other, but for Man City, it's a home fixture against a defence with 15.58 expected goals conceded. And for Liverpool, it's away at Man City, and they have 11.27 expected goals conceded. So Man City this season are the better defence. Obviously, Liverpool the weaker defence. And it's at home for Man City. So I reckon, given that Liverpool are the weaker defence and Man City are at home, I think Haaland's the best captain. So, yeah, that was just to provide my thoughts on the captaincy. Clean sheet odds, it's going to be, I reckon there's going to be very few clean sheets to go around. We've got Arsenal at top, 40%. Crystal Palace, Fulham, Man City, West Ham, Bournemouth are all the teams above 30. Then we've got 4 on 29, and the rest I'd probably ignore for clean sheets, to be honest. I don't reckon they'll keep them. But even the teams like on the left-hand side of this grid, I mean, I don't know how many of them are actually going to keep clean sheets this week. I could see all of them conceding. Brentford are a good team. They play well against the big sides, so could quite easily see them scoring against Arsenal. So I think if I was making a defender transfer this week, it would be for like an injury or to save some budget rather than actually to target points, because I don't really think it's going to be high scoring for defenders. Don't know what you guys think, but Yeah, I don't see a great deal of clean sheets coming in. Good to see you, Shaniel, mate. Hope you're all well. Yeah, I reckon there'll be a rogue clean sheet. Something like Brighton. A team like Brighton might finally keep their clean sheet this week or something like that. Right, I'll just have a look at the chat a second. I'll flash my team up. I'll have a look at the chat and then we can start putting some teams in draft hand if people want. So I'll just crack my team up on the screen. There we go. 2 seconds. Right, let's have a look at the chat. I will definitely do that in a second, Dakshin. I'm just going to try and have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Juntao's looking at doing Gordon and Matoma to Bowen and Palmer. I wouldn't be bringing in Bowen this week. I think Bowen is a classic case of don't buy, don't sell, given the injury doubt. I reckon he'll only miss a week. That would be, if he does miss a week, sorry. If he is injured, I think he misses just a single week. Then, of course, he could play. But I think that's too risky to be transferring him in. So for me, Juntao, I would keep Gordon because he's been really decent. I'd probably sell Matoma for Palmer, and I'd just do that. Answered the Virgil question. Which second striker would I have? I like Solanke this week. I don't like Watkins on your bench, Dan, because I think Tottenham, without Van de Ven, are a lot weaker defensively. And I know most of Villa's goals have come at home, and they're obviously away at Tottenham. But I do think Watkins has got a good chance this week. Yeah, I put Burnley 5-0 on my accidental wrong score predictions. That's quite funny. My team is Cash, Gabriel. Oh, I think it'd be the opposite, Victor. Sorry, just reading your message. I think it'd be the opposite with Everton. I reckon it will just galvanise them as a team. And they'll be even better following it. Because they know that it's possible. I just think there are 3 worse teams in the league than them. And I think Everton know that as well. So they need to win games, basically. That's all they need to do. They'll stay up, but they need to win games. And I think they'll just have extra motivation to do that. Niels, I've not seen any early team news yet. I don't think we'll get that probably until sort of 10:30 or quarter of an hour before the deadline, to be completely honest. Team is Cash, Gabriel, Dallo, Saka, Salah, Matoma, Gordon / Palmer, Alvarez, Haaland, Watkins, Matoma to Mbumo. So have to bench one of Palmer, Gordon, or Mbumo. I personally would question if Gabriel was going to start this week. Because it's just always a question mark. But yeah, that'd be my thoughts. Would you bench one of Palmer, Gordon, or Mbumo? I think I'd bench Gordon of the 3. Palmer and Mbumo have always got penalties to fall back on, whereas Gordon won't. So yeah, I'd probably bench Gordon and keep the penalty takers in my team. Would you bring in Haaland for a -8? Nah, I don't think I'd do that, mate. My opinion on Bernardo Silva, I just think he's in a good run of form. I mean, there was one season, was it a couple seasons ago? Was it the COVID year where he did really well for points? And then last season, obviously, he was an important part of the City team, but didn't really score many goals or get many assists, but he was still a key part of the team. This season, it's hard for me to tell whether it's just like a purple patch or whether he is actually like more integral to their attack in terms of getting goals and assists. I do wonder what... if it will continue. Be interested to see what the rest of the chat think about Bernardo Silva. Do we all reckon he's an option, given obviously he's done well in recent weeks? I think he's returned probably for the last 3 weeks in a row, is it? Just have a quick look. I don't mind Edouard, especially with Eze back in the team. So yeah. So he's got an assist against Man United, scored 2 against Bournemouth, and obviously a 6-1 win. Got a 1 assist in a 4-4 all draw with Chelsea. And then before that, he got 1 goal and 1 assist. That's the whole season against West Ham. And then he missed a few games as well. I just don't think the returns have been consistent enough at that price. You could have Eze, you could have Mbumo, you could have Palmer, you could have Gordon. There are plenty of options around that price that I think will score more goals and get more assists. It's just my thoughts, though. Yeah, and what Victor's saying as well, there's a lot of rotation. Alvarez or Palmer? I think I would start Palmer because I think you can guarantee that Palmer will start. Whereas Alvarez, he probably plays, but he's been in South America, so... Archer started. I don't know. I think Archer will play. I'm kind of relying on him playing because if Bowen doesn't start, he will come off my bench. Bowen and White out for a -4 to Eze and James. Yeah, I don't think I'd be taking a minus hit for any of those players. I think I'd leave them. Leave them and bench them if you need to. Sorry, folks. I'm just going to grab a tissue. Apologies for that. Don't really know who to drop from my midfield and strikers. Need to drop from... Okay, Dan, we'll have a look at your team. Right, we'll get on to some team ratings. So, excuse me. If people send me either your FPL ID or the name of your team in the game, I'll find it. We'll have a look at it in Draft Hound, and I'll give my thoughts. I never claim to be an FPL expert, but you should take my advice 100%, nothing like that. But I think people fairly find it useful just to have a second opinion on their team, and this stream provides that opportunity. So yeah, if you want to chuck your team name in or your FPL ID, I'll have a look at your team. Oh, and another thing, just because it's a thing on my channel now, you'll see Victor, Shaniel, and Alexandru, who have been in the chat already, have a little golden goal logo by their name. That's because they're channel members. I will always give, it's because, yeah, they're members. I will always give them a priority when reviewing their team. So as Victor chucked his team ID in first, I'll have a look at his. But that's not to say everyone else's won't get looked at. That's not true. By the way, I did tick because all right, I'm trying to be as open as I can in this YouTube game, right? You can select multiple options for membership. So you can have people paying like up to 20 quid a month to be a YouTube member. I obviously don't do that. I'm pretty sure I've ticked the cheapest box. Victor and Alexandru will confirm, but I imagine it costs like less. It's either 3 quid, three British pounds, or £1 a month to be a member. It's one of those two, I'm pretty sure. Or I might be completely wrong and I've gotten something else, but I'm pretty sure I ticked the cheapest box. Anyway, this is Victor's team. He's got 2 free transfers. 0.8 million in the bank. I reckon my friend... Yeah, 3 quid, there you go. I reckon my friend, I would do Mitoma to either Mbumo or Eze. I can't remember, Victor, if you said you've done a transfer. There's too many messages in the chat to scroll up now. But yeah, I think I'd use one of the 2 frees, keep Bowen in the team. So I'd do probably, yeah, Mitoma to Eze or Mbumo, whichever one you fancy the most, really. Do you have a preference on, I keep saying Mitoma, he's being sold. Do you have a preference on Mbumo or Eze? Because those are the two I would consider bringing in, I think. Go with Sterling. Blimey. Sterling. I did not expect that. Fair enough. If that's your view, I don't mind that. Absolutely fair enough. But yeah, that's all I'd say. I just think you need to take out Mitoma for someone. And if you'd rather go Sterling than the players I suggested, the last thing, as I say this with a few people as well, the last thing you want is a bloke on a computer screen telling you exactly what you need to do with your team. I think my job is to make you think and give you a little bit of tips, right? I mean, ultimately, your team's up to you. So if you fancy Sterling Victor, you go with that one. Right, that's Victor. And did we have anyone else? Someone else put their team in, didn't they? Trying to find it. Dan Hilton, that was it. Cheers, everyone, by the way. Happy Saturday. I'm cheersing you with my coffee. He's got the nipple man in goal. Cash, Lascelles, Simicast, Son, Salah, Diaby, Palmer, Martinelli, Haaland and Watkins, and then Darwin on the bench. He's done Cash to Saliba. Interesting. I don't think I would have done that myself, mate. I reckon your defence is all right. I think Cash will play. Martinelli to Dingery took a hit. I wouldn't do, if it was me, I wouldn't do Martinelli to Adingra. And I think I would play Watkins over Darwin as well. That would be my thoughts. But again, I respect your moves. If you wanted my opinion, that was my opinion on them. But yeah, I respect your moves. I think I would play Watkins over Darwin. I feel like if Tottenham had Van der Ven at the back, I'd expect them to do really well in that game. But I think him missing is just... They're basically back to what they were last season defensively, I reckon. So is it going to be Romero and Dyer at the back? Or do you reckon he'll try Ben Davies? I just don't know. So, yeah. I think I'd start Watkins just for the state that Tottenham are in defensively. By the way, we've got 57 people watching. Bloody hell. Thank you so much for deciding to tune into this live stream. Hope you're enjoying it. There's quite a lot going in at the moment, but if you want me to look at your team in Draft Hound over here, just let me know your FPL ID or team name, and I'll try and get to it as quickly as I can. 57 people's unreal. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Golden Goal channel and leave a like rating on the stream. I'd really appreciate it. We get 64 people. Unbelievable. But yeah, like and subscribe. That'd be great. What have we got next? Dakshin has been on to me, so let's have a look at Dakshin's team. I won't repeat it. Just in case we get taken down. FPL cancelled. Oh my. 2 free transfers and a really, really, really nice team. God, what would I do with this? I've got an idea. Do we reckon João Pedro plays this week? If Mitoma isn't in the team, do we reckon João Pedro could play? Hopefully you're still here, Dakshin. Sorry I took a little while to get to your team, but I had to go for the people in front of you in the queue, I'm afraid. To be fair, 2 free transfers, you should probably use one. I would personally use the transfer just as like an easy luxury move to do Kabore Kabore to Lascelles. I think I spoke about this last game week deadline as well, but if you've got João Pedro in your team, I think you should start him because you've picked him because you think he's going to play. So I'd start João Pedro, probably put Semenyo first on bench, and then do Kabore to Lascelles. That's probably what I'd do. Yeah. By the way, anyone that is new to the stream, you'll have to bear with. For some reason, every time I go live to do a Saturday deadline stream, I can't stop myself sneezing. I don't know what it is. I get through all my YouTube videos during the week talking on camera without sneezing, but for some reason, whenever I go live, it just happens. So I'll go on mute and duck my head occasionally, but that's only because I'm sorting myself out. So yeah, sorry about that. You have to bear with. It's just part of my personality, I'm afraid. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I'm fine every other time. Okay, so that's Dakshin's team. Hopefully that helps you, mate. Thought of taking Cash out? I wouldn't take him out. He's the top... allergic to everyone in the chat. Cash is the top defender in the Premier League for expected goal involvement. We looked at the clean sheet odds this week, and I don't think there are many clean sheets to go around. So I don't think, unless, it's part of a 2-3 transfer move or getting rid of someone that's injured, I don't see a reason to sell defenders this week because I don't think the player you'll be buying has that much more of a chance of keeping a clean sheet, if that makes sense. I mean, when you look at the clean sheet odds, no team is more likely than not to keep a clean sheet, like above 50%. So yeah, I don't see it happening. So for that reason, I don't think I'd be rushing a defender out. Hopefully that logical thought makes sense. Right. Trying to find the order then. Carl Valencia, I think, was next. Sorry, it does take me a while to get through all these. Carl Valencia's got a really low ID. Get you, mate. Oh, he's got 8 Nori. I like that. I think I would just start Bowen over Archer. Because I think Bowen either starts or he doesn't get any minutes at all. So it's worth just starting him. As for that, though, I mean, I don't think I'd make any changes. Simicast can come in for White. I don't think... Or Taylor could come in for White. Just, yeah, put ahead on your bench whoever you prefer out of Taylor and Simicast. I think it's pretty even between the two. But other than that, I don't think I would make any changes, to be honest. 0 in the bank is a bit tight, but I don't reckon I'd make any changes. And then also the thing with Matty Cash, Jesse's got Tottenham, but then after that he's got Bournemouth, so he could well keep a clean sheet in that Bournemouth game. The time to sell Matty Cash, in my opinion. Next 5. Yeah, so he's got Man City, Arsenal, Brentford. That's tough. Man City, Arsenal in consecutive game weeks. So that's the time to sell him. But right now, I'd just keep him. But yeah, I wouldn't make a transfer to that team. I think it looks great. One thing I have found, I can't claim to have a massively great rank in FPL this season, but I played a game called Fan Team last year, which was basically an FPL, but there's money involved. You bet like a fiver and win some money at the end of the season. I came 24th or 3rd. I can't remember if it was 24th or 34th overall in that last year. And honestly, I attribute it to not... There were weeks, probably 4 or 5 weeks in a row, where I didn't make a transfer to my team. It's like the old variance catches up with you. And, I don't know, half the transfers, unless it's for an injury, that's obviously a fair decision. But luxury moves to swap a player out that isn't playing very well, to bring someone in, etc., that usually ended up in negative points for me. So with just not making the transfers, sticking with the proven assets, it really, really helped me out. So yeah, just a bit of advice there, Carl. So I wouldn't do anything with that team. So that's Carl Valencia done. Very nice-ish. Is he still in the chat? We'll see. 12319. I guess the one thing you could do is do Gusto to Lascelles and then play Lascelles. Then you've got a really nice team. Exactly what Victor said. Although, I don't know if it's the same in Danish. I think you're from is it Denmark or Norway. Sorry if I've forgotten, mate. But in British motorways, right, the best lane to be in traffic, I promise you, is the inside lane. Everyone goes in the outside lane thinking, oh, I'm going to skip all the traffic. This is the fast lane. But because everyone's thinking that, it's actually the lane on the left that's the quickest one. Just a bit of logic there. Most of the time, I found that to be the case anyway. So yeah, the slow route where you just keep going is the way to go. Up the Bristol indeed. Right, who's next? Ashton is next. Oh no, JC is next. Sorry, JC, you're asking for a little while. No. Oh no, Natalie is next. My bad. Natalie, if you're still here, your team's coming up. Game of Stones, we love it. Oh my, what a team. What a team. Johnny Evans and everything. I like it. The question is, what do people think? Would you play Palmer over Diaby? I think that's the close call in your team. I think the rest is absolutely fine. But Palmer versus Diaby is the close one. Maybe a defender transfer as well. Again, I really like just getting Lascelles in while he's nice and cheap. Maybe you could do Walker to Lascelles. Just thinking of that Game Week 18 blank. But yeah, other than that, I think that's lovely. I just look at bringing Lascelles in for a player that you didn't want. That's all I can really suggest there. Other than that, you got a lovely team there, Natalie. Just find who's next. Oh, Alexandru, I'm so sorry. I completely missed you put your team in. Oh no, that's not even you. I've done you a disservice there. I promised that I would look at your team first. And then I didn't do it. Alexandru, I'm a criminal. I'm a criminal. I do apologise. I just saw it then and instantly went for it. Okay. Oh, mate. I mean, that's lovely. I think I'll just start Bowen and captain him because that's what you want to do. And then if he doesn't play, Archer comes in, which I think is fine. You've got one free transfer, so rolling is good. Yeah, I mean, it's a lovely team. I don't think there's anything you can do to that to make it better. Ooh. Yeah, I just don't think there's anything you can do to that. Yeah, like it, mate. There's not much else you can do there. I wouldn't be rushing Diaby out just yet. I would sell Diaby, what? That's like game week 13, 14, 15. I'd sell Diaby 15. I'd be keeping him. Tottenham and Bournemouth, he could score in both those games, I reckon. Won't be a second. Right. It's a lovely team, Alexandra. I think you're going to have a good game week. And thank you for being patient with me, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. JC. If you're still here, mate, lovely team. You got 2 free transfers. And you've already got Lascelles, so you can't even use one of the 2 to get him in. Interesting. So you kind of have to use a transfer. But what do you use it on? And there isn't a player there that I'd be desperate to sell either. Perhaps. This is just a suggestion. perhaps you could do Kabore. Obviously, Bowen can go if he is ruled out. But perhaps you could do Kabore to a Palace defender. And then start the Palace defender over maybe Lascelles. Like Kabore to Gahey, potentially. But JC, I mean, that's such a good team that there's just nothing you can really do. Or maybe, like, you could downgrade Turner to an even cheaper keeper just to save yourself 0.1. I just wouldn't waste I wouldn't let the one transfer go. I think you can do something. But yeah, it's really tough. Yeah, as Carl said, there's some really good teams here. It's really, like, a testament to how good your teams are, the fact that I'm struggling to make suggestions. Right, Ashton is next. I think. Oh no, wrong team. 1459019. Ashton. Oh wow, it's another one where I just can't. I've got nothing to suggest. I mean, Onana starting him against Everton. I think I'd just prefer Areola over Onana. I gotta say, I do think Everton will score in that one. Trippier, Gahey, and Cash. I think that's fine. Question is, do you start Udogie over Cash? That's the only question. I'd say really I know the expected points are lower for Udogie, but I don't think they've been updated because he's been injured recently. So yeah, I think that's almost a 50-50 call. So I'd say, Ashton, it's up to you who you start out of those. Your midfield is lovely. Son, Saka, Diaby, Kudus is fine. Yep, starting Cash, no worries. Haaland, Watkins, Edouard is also fine. Yes, you've got Mitoma, but I don't see like an absolute need to sell him because the rest of your 11 is really, really good. I think I'd roll the transfer, mate. Maybe you could do something creative with your team next week with 2. Of those 3, Victor, if that's a question for you, I'd start Palmer. So that's Ashton. What have we got after that? Lucas. All right, mate. We'll have a look at yours. By the way, if you are a member and I don't look at your team again like I did Alexandru, you have my permission to put your team ID in the chat again, just in case I've missed it. That doesn't go for everyone else though, because it does get a bit annoying. But members, I'll give you that privilege. Right. This team. Who am I looking at here? This is Lucas's team. Just get that tab out of the way. The only one I'm not massive on is Nketiah. Because Trossard's been playing, hasn't he? And Jesus is back. Did Mitoma to Mbumo? Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect then. Right, let's just pretend, because it's being a bit laggy, let's just pretend Mitoma is Mbumo. Yeah, I mean, that's a lovely team. There's just nothing I can suggest there. That's perfect. The move you've made there will be absolutely fine, mate. Right. Lucas, thanks for sticking around, bud. Sorry it took me a little while to get to you, but I'm cracking through the list. FPL Cortex. Have a look at yours, my friend. I think I would do Udogie over Tsimikas and then Mitoma to Mbumo. Oh, you got a bit of cash though, haven't you? Have you got Saka in? Oh no, you can't quite afford Saka. Yeah, if you wanted my thoughts, Cortex, I think I'd do Mitoma to Mbumo, bench Archer, put him first on your bench and he can come in if Bowen doesn't play. So just imagine Mitoma is Mbumo there. And then move Archer first on your bench. Then just do that. I think that's lovely. Bear with, folks. I'm just going to grab a tissue from my bathroom. Won't be a minute. Do you reckon it might help if I actually like let some daylight in? I've realised I've had my blinds closed all morning as well. I'll just do that. Oh, there we go. Right, so we got Ashton, we got Lucas, we've done JC, a sneezy Tom, Seed Kidir. Sorry if I've butchered that name. We'll have a look at yours. 376414. There he is. Snakes Onana Plain. I like that. Oh, he's still got Madison. Still got Madison. I think I'd do Madison to Saka. Madison to Saka would be my move, I think, to get Saka in. Saying Madison to Mbumo, but I don't agree with that. I reckon you can do Madison to Saka. But it's saying Branthwaite in for Cash as well. I'm not sure I'd do that. I think I'd keep Cash. But yeah, I'd just do Madison to Saka, mate. Then I reckon you've got a decent looking team there. Madison to Bowen before the news. Oh, but at least you've got two frees, right? So if you've done Madison to Bowen already, I'd consider Lamptey to Lascelles. Oh yeah, you could do Chukwuemeka to Palmer, but I'd probably do Lamptey to Lascelles would be my one, because if Bowen plays, then you've got Palmer sitting on your bench. But I think I wouldn't roll it. I think I'd do Lamptey to Lascelles would be my thoughts, and then probably start Lascelles over Tsimikas. That would be my immediate thoughts. Thank you for sticking around though, pal. Phil. Let's have a look at Phil's team. He's just Phil. He's just Phil on YouTube. Phil Cabral. Let's have a look at you, mate. Thank you everyone for being patient and sticking around while I got your teams. It's getting really hard, isn't it? Well, I never usually have this number of viewers in a stream, so it's taken a bit longer than it usually does. So I appreciate everyone sticking around and waiting. That's really good. And yeah, just appreciate you all watching. Okay. Phil's team. I mean, start Bowen over Archer. I mean, other than that, mate, there's just nothing I'd suggest. You got all the players that there's just nothing I would do with this team, Phil. I would roll your free transfer, Captain Haaland. Yeah, there's just nothing I do to that team. It's lovely, mate. All right, I'm pretty sure the next team was SJ here. So have a look at that. 114,000. 1114123. Sanjay Joseph. That's why he's called SJ. I actually like the West Ham defence this week. I think it could be their one rare clean sheet of the season. Yeah, it's just nothing I would do with this team again, mate. It's looking really good. You got good cover on the bench. Yeah, just leave it, mate. It's looking fine. I just roll the transfer. I think Lascelles is... I just think you could back Newcastle to potentially keep a clean sheet against anyone, particularly when they're playing at St James's Park. So that's why I'm saying I think he's a good option. And 4 million for a Newcastle defender, I think it makes him the best bench option in the game, to be honest. I've done SJ. Anyone else cracking their thing in? Adam, team ID 2395. Another one that's looking really nice. Start Bowen, let Archer come in off the bench. You got Lascelles there as well if any of your defenders don't start. Yeah, just roll, Adam. It's looking really nice. There's nothing I can suggest there. Sorry, it's only short, but really, there's nothing I can suggest there. Sidemen short. Ooh. It doesn't seem to like it. Can I find my own team? At times, draft time does go frozen, which I think it has just done. I'll refresh it. Ooh. Have we broken it? By the way, while it's loading, if you wanted to use that tool for yourself and have better luck than I do getting access to it, there's a link. There's always a link in the description to sign up yourself. There's a free version where you just get to see the next 1 game week's expected points, or you can pay a little bit and you get to see the extra game weeks. It's a really useful tool. Obviously, I've used it for all these team reviews. So yeah, take a look yourself. Sorry, lads. I'm trying, but it doesn't want to load at the moment. We might have to come back to it. Sorry, everyone that didn't get a chance, but as you can see, it's just loading away. I can't access it at the moment. Sorry about that, lads. I think, to be honest, my brain has kind of looked at too many FPL teams for one little session there, so 2 secs. One thing I would say is I'll hedge a bet that you've probably seen a team or across all the ones that I've reviewed there that's semi-close to what you have, right? And hopefully that can give you a little bit of guidance as to what to potentially do with your team. I mean, obviously, if you want to get your team reviewed, I'll cut it there because I can't get the tool to load. If you want to stick around, we'll have a look at it in, say, half an hour's time and then go through them again. I can't get the tool to load, so unfortunately I can't look at any more teams. So yeah, if you want to stick around for another half an hour, crack your team IDs in then you can. But yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't get to any others that haven't had their team looked at. I'm afraid I just can't get the tool to load. But I've got an FPL quiz if you want to do the quiz. Thank you, FPL Diamond, and thank you about the job. I don't want to sound cocky about it, but I got I don't know if anyone uses LinkedIn, but I had a message from a recruiter on LinkedIn about it, and it just looked like a reasonably interesting job. And the 2 blokes that interviewed me were lovely. It looked like I'd be a good fit for the role itself. Like, I know I could do the job that they were asking me to do. But unfortunately, the commute, so to get to the interview, I live in Bristol and the job was within Bristol. But the commute, it took me an hour. It was at 2 p.m. on a Friday, obviously when the roads are relatively quiet. Because of all the roadworks and just annoyances that exist in Bristol at the moment, it took me an hour to get there. And they wanted me to do more hours and be in the office more than I am currently for my job, which would mean I spend 2 hours a day commuting, which is less time to do this YouTube hobby, which I really enjoy. And more working hours, which means that I will have less time to do this YouTube job that I enjoy. So, yeah, I really appreciate, obviously, everyone's well wishes, but I'm just not sure the job was the right fit for me. I think what my plan is just to wait, see if they offer it to me. And then if they do, I've got a bit of like leg to stand on in terms of negotiation, if that makes sense. But if they don't want me, then there's no point getting my hopes up or anything like that. So that's my thoughts on the job, but I appreciate your well wishes, Diamond. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. I'll keep everyone in touch with how I get on. So yeah, unfortunately, while draft time loads, because it's still loading, I've done a little quiz of the FPL season so far, if anyone wants to take part. So what I'll do, I'll put the questions on screen for about 30 to 45 seconds. Crack in your answers in the chat, and then I'll reveal what the answer is. So this is a rogue question, right? I don't know where I got it from, but it's quite an interesting one. So you can't, well, obviously I can't stop you cheating, but I'd prefer it if you didn't cheat. Without checking, who is the 4th highest scoring midfielder in FPL at the moment? What do we reckon? Saka, Son? See a bit of Saka and a bit of Son? Someone saying Saka? I'll give it a few more seconds. What do we reckon? Few shouts for Saka, few shouts for Son. Bowen and Mbeumo are in there as well. Quite a few shouts for Saka. Lots of shouts for Saka. Wow. Bit of Bowen. Son. I'll give it 10 more seconds. Unfortunately, it's Brian Mbeumo. I'm just going to check that that's correct. I feel like you guys might know more than me, but I did check it before. Yeah, it is Brian Mbeumo. I am right. Check it yourself. It is Brian Mbeumo. I'm not a fraud. I was just like, I was worried that all you guys were getting it wrong. I was like, oh, that must be a... But it is Brian Mbeumo. It is Brian Mbeumo. I promise. Hold my hands up. You got Salah on 101, Son on 82, Bowen on 75, and Mbeumo sits on 74. Right. I have done one ownership question, which hopefully is still valid, but I made them last night, so that'd be good fun. Right, next one. Who has scored the most own goals in the league so far this season? We've got 4 options. We've got Al Dakhil of Burnley, Emiliano Martinez of Villa, Matty Cash, of course, of Aston Villa as well, and Anthony Robinson of Fulham. Who scored the most own goals this season? Couple shouts for Robinson, bit of cash. We love the cash. I'm just going to blow my nose while the answer's coming. Few shouts for Cash, few shouts for Martinez. Couple for Robinson. By the way, keep a score if you're still going. The FPL Mafia spreading propaganda, is it? Right, I'll give it 10 more seconds, then I'll reveal the answer. Any other shouts? You got Al Dakhil, Martinez, Robinson, or Cash? All right. The answer I will reveal. Oh, didn't work. Anthony Robinson. He's got 2. Everyone else on that list has 1. All right, the next one. Which Premier League player has the most yellow cards so far this season? You got 4 options. João Palhinha of Fulham, Bruno Fernandes, Nicholas Jackson, or Anthony Gordon. Who has got the most yellow cards this season? I'll give it like 30 seconds. And I'll show you the answer. Gordon, Palhinha, Jackson. Pretty much everyone being shouted already. I did make the questions quite rogue, because if I just said who is the highest scoring, it would probably be a bit boring. Mudryk. Another shout for Jackson. More shouts for Jackson. Lots of shouts for Jackson coming through. Bit of Gordon, bit of Palhinha I see as well. Jackson or Gordon. Oh, you can only give one, mate. You can't put 2 answers down. That's not how it works. But by the way, yeah, one caveat is that obviously in some of these stats, right, there could be 2 players on an equal number, but I've made sure to pick questions where there is only one answer. People trolling with Mudryk. The answer, in fact, is Nicholas Jackson. Well done for everyone that said Jackson. I think that was pretty much everyone. I think Palhinha, Gordon, and Jackson have all served a suspension. I think Bruno's on 4. Don't worry, David. There's always a chance to bring it back. Right, next. Which player has scored the most penalties in the league so far this season? You've got Salah, Cole Palmer, Erling Haaland, or Douglas Luiz. Yeah, Nicholas Jackson's been really silly with his yellows. Yeah. Who has scored the most penalties so far this season? Couple shouts for Palmer, third shout for Palmer, fourth shout for Palmer. Joe Cole. Everyone's saying Cole Palmer, but are you right? You could be wrong. Just saying you could be wrong. Penbar. I don't think that quite works. Someone said Louise. Don't forget how many points Louise has had from penalties this season. Same with Salah, to be fair, he's had a few. Same with Haaland. Obviously, Palmer has had a few as well. We all know that. Lindelof captain. Fair play, mate. The Swede captaining the Swede. Right, I'll reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's Cole Palmer. Everyone guessed it, so it's not really a surprise. Unlucky Unish who guessed Louise, but it is in fact Cole Palmer with 4. I've got one more question. The final question. Which midfielder is owned by the most players in FPL? I'm just going to check the FPL. So you're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to cheat. But I'm going to check the FPL website just to check that it's still valid. It is still valid. The answer is still valid. Who is the most owned midfielder in FPL at the moment? Everyone's saying Salah so far. Shout for Saka. Everyone's saying Salah. Bit of Saka and Salah. Or more shouts for Saka coming in. Between Saka and Salah then, by the looks of it. What are you calling Saka a fraud? He's done all right this season. Don't worry, Lee. I will take Saka as your final answer. I'll give it 10 more seconds, then I'll reveal the answer. I just checked the FPL website myself. Oh, I can tell Liam's a little bit behind on the stream. He's answered the defender question. We're on to the midfielders now, mate. Who is the most owned mid? Right, here we go. The answer is Saka. I'll just be a second if I blow my nose again. Put in the chat what you got. I don't have a prize, unfortunately. The prize was just doing the quiz and having fun doing the quiz, but let me know what you got. And we can give a round of applause to whoever got the highest score. But I imagine there will be some dishonest people in the chat, knowing what some of you lot are like. Just say you got them all right. But yeah, well done, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. I tried to make the questions a bit difficult, so no one would be able to get all of them. I'm just going to have a look at Twitter just to see if there is any early team news. Abu Dhabi scandal. What's going on there in the Grand Prix? Oh, we'll look at that later. Sounds quite a complicated thing. There's the Man City predicted lineup, if anyone was interested. Wanted to know that. That's Luke Disable's predicted lineup. He's usually very good at predicting Man City. It is, to be fair to him. See if any of my leaked FPL team news accounts have tweeted anything. City Extra predicting that Julian Alvarez will be rested. That doesn't mean he is going to be rested. Don't chase the rank, Diamond. I would say 246k at this stage of the season is still an excellent rank. So don't let that get in your head. You're still doing great. No early team news as of yet. I'm just going to put a jumper on if that's all right. The temperature in my room has somehow decreased while I've been on my stream. I'm just going to crack a jumper on if that's all right. Schenko, I wouldn't sell any of them. I think they're both great options. I wouldn't sell either of them. Thank you, Diamond, mate. I'm big into my quarter zips at the moment. I do like a good little quarter. Oh, also I bought some new shoes. I'll show you. 2 seconds. It's the little things in life, innit? Here's my new shoes. I got some new Reeboks. They're not brilliant white. They're like off-white chalk colour, which I really like. They're not brilliant bright white. There you go. Diamond, no worries at all, mate. You have a good morning if you're a moderator on someone else's channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. They're right, aren't they? They were. So I always like to have a couple pairs of trainers in rotation, right? Yeah, they probably are trainers rather than shoes. I like to have a couple pairs in rotation. So yeah, I like one like black pair and then one white pair because then you find they go with any outfit. But yeah, Reebok Classics, by the way, are some of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn, and they're super duper cheap if you can find them on a sale. So yeah, I got them for 50 quid from Sports Direct. I'm gonna crack them on actually because they're clean. I can wear them around the house, break them in a bit. Oh. But yeah, what a time. David giving me a lecture that they're trainers rather than shoes. I'll accept it, mate. Oh, thanks for all the compliments on the crepes. Best Matoma transfer is Mbumo Ben. It's good to see you. I would say that I wouldn't transfer Bowen. If you've got someone... the thing is with these Reeboks, mate, is they don't cause bliss. I've had about 5 pairs of them now, so I know well that they'll be fine. But yeah, wear them out of the house to break them in a bit. Yeah, sorry, Ben. I would say Mitoma is the best Mbumo replacement, followed by Eze, followed by Cole Palmer. And I wouldn't sell Bowen. If you've got someone that could come off the bench that's going to score actual points rather than minus points, yeah. I wouldn't bring Bruno in on fan team because I believe he's on 4 yellow cards. Just as a heads up there. So I don't think, I messed my hair up a bit when I did my jumper. I don't think I would sell anyone for Bruno because he's on the 4 yellows. And if you were Bruno Fernandes, you'd probably get a yellow. Who would you get rid of for him? What I'm saying is I wouldn't get rid of anyone for him. I wouldn't buy him because he's on 4 yellows. Oh, who would I replace him with? Oh, mate, that's the right language to use. That's all right, pal. That's all right, pal. Who would I replace Bruno with? I really like Mbumo because he plays 90 and he's on penalties. I really like Eze because he plays 90 and he is on penalties. I like Son as well. He's because he plays 90 and he's on penalties. I think those are your 3 options. It depends, like if bringing him in for someone cheaper allows you to upgrade the rest of your team and do that. But if you could go sideways for Son, then I'd probably do that as well. I guess it's up to the wider team for you. Let's see if Draft Town's up and running again. Well, hey, we got Draft Town going again, I think. Oh, no, I've just pressed the wrong button. I would do, personally, I think I'd do Bruno and Matoma for, yeah, Eze and Son, if you can afford it. Or Mbumo and Son. Depends on who you think's your favourite out of Eze and Mbumo, I think. I need to make a sacrifice for Salah, and I have Trippier, Watkins, Haaland and Son. So who should I give up? I wouldn't do it, mate. I don't think I'd bring Salah in. Not this week, because you wouldn't captain him. Luke? Oh, well, I really appreciate that, mate. Am I stupid if you captain Anderson? It's not a 0 IQ play, but I think there are better captains. I do think he could well keep a clean sheet, but obviously the reason you probably captain him is because he's one of the highest scoring defenders, obviously. But I think his attacking returns have been a little bit too much compared to what he should have actually got. So I don't think I'd captain him, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's cold. Why has it gotten so cold? Freezing in the UK at the moment. I will be captaining Haaland. Sorry, because I missed quite a few teams, so I'm not going to scroll up the chat. But if anyone's still here and wants their team looking at in Draft Hound, the tool's back working again. So send me your FPL ID or your team name, and I will find it in Draft Hound and have a look at your team for you, if you'd like. And I'll suggest some transfers or... no transfers if your team's good, basically. So yeah, if you want a bit of personalised team advice or thoughts from me, just crack your team name or ID in the chat and I'll have a look. You got to do a spin the wheel for captaincy, by the way. You still got to do that, I'm conscious of. Right, Lee Fisher. Let's have a look at your team, Lee. Good to see you. Well, you were in Benidorm last week, weren't you? Or I think last stream, I'm pretty sure you were in Benidorm. Hope you had a good time over there. Enjoyed the Sticky Vicky show. Don't Google that. Yeah, I mean, I just do that. Start Bowen over Archer. Let him come in if Bowen doesn't play. Roll your transfer. 2 frees next week to do what you like with. I don't think I'd do... Yeah, I don't think I'd do anything with that team, mate. I think that looks absolutely fine. Alvarez out for Solanke. Ooh. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I think there's probably a chance that Alvarez doesn't start, isn't there? So that's probably a sensible move. And then, of course, Solanke has Bournemouth, Burnley, and then Burnley. So 2 nice fixtures where you could quite happily start him. Nick Lohmeyer. Hopefully that's correct. Could be Lohmeyer. Here's his team. Oh, wow. Lovely. You got 2 free transfers as well. Holy moly. I'd do Mitoma to Mbumo and then just start him over Archer. And then if Bowen doesn't play, let Archer come in. Or Cash. Cash could come in as well if you fancied Cash. Yeah, I'd just do that. Mitoma to Mbumo. Did you make a transfer already? I wouldn't worry too much about the flags you've got either. Gotta be completely honest. It's just the Matoma one that I'd worry about because Archer can come in for Bowen, and Archer's got a decent fixture. Likewise, you've got a nice defence there. I think you'd be fine. Yeah, it's just Matoma I'd worry about getting rid of. Hopefully that helps you, mate. Shenko, you are next, I think. Yeah. I don't think I'd take a hit with that team, Nick. I've got to be honest. I think you can make do with one free transfer. Oh, 2 frees for this one. I think I'd probably sell Bruno Fernandes. I think I'd probably do Bruno to... I'd probably do Bruno to Saka with this team and then just leave the rest. Because Bruno, I don't think he's going to do very well against Everton. I think Everton are going to beat Man United this weekend. And then he's got Newcastle and Chelsea, and I believe he's on 4 yellow cards. So I do think Bruno Fernandes is probably a sell, and I'd probably sell him for Saka. And that's the move I would make. Keep Haaland as your captain. Because you wouldn't captain him, I think not having Salah is okay. Yeah. Hopefully that helps you, mate. Sidemen shorts, we did have you... I think you were on the block when it stopped working, weren't you? That's all right, my friend. One thing I would say, hopefully I think it's a fair payment for my services. If you appreciate my review of your team, please leave a like and subscribe. That's all I ask. It's completely free. This is, who am I looking at now? This is Sidemen Shorts team. Oh, blimey. I just don't see an immediate move there, especially with nothing in the bank. I think again it's because you can't afford Lascelles for Kabore either. That's been my easy not burner transfer move. I can't immediately see anything here. What do people, anyone in the chat willing to give a bit of advice here? Anyone able to share what they think? Because I'm not sure what I do, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure what I do here. He's a bit of Bulldog. Is Bulldog fit? Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind Gordon to Palmer. I think that's quite good. I am looking at teams for getting Bs. I'll get to yours. I've got Liam, Roland, Skeltons to do, and then I'll have a look at yours. But yeah, I'm a bit stumped by your team Sidemen Shorts, I gotta say. Going to get Mbumo and Palmer in soon, yeah. It's just whether you think now is the time to bring in Palmer, I guess. Tricky. I think Ndinga is actually more likely to play than Alvarez. I'd almost be aligned with Nick. I think, honestly, I wouldn't feel like I'd keel over if I rolled a transfer with this team. If I burned a transfer, sorry, with this team. It's not the worst thing in the world. I think the transfer I would do would be Gordon to Palmer if you did want to make one. But I wouldn't be, like, desperate to do that. Right, I'll have a look at someone else's. Liam Roland Skelton, the man himself. He's been patient, he has. He's still here. Patient man. Thank you very much. I'll look at your team. Oh, it's good. Bit of Souček. A bit of Souček in there. I tell you what, Souček this week. Burnley are the worst team I've ever seen in the Premier League at defending set pieces. So if there was ever a game week for Souček to have a chance of scoring, it's this week. It is this week. I think he's got a good chance. Rest of the team, though, you do have some flags, don't you? So you've got nothing on your bench. Callum Wilson, who's injured. João Pedro might not play. It's a little bit of issues going on here, mate. I think I would do Mitoma to Mbumo, bench Wilson, roll, go with that. Or you could even, if you really wanted to, you could take a hit, but I don't see how I'd take a hit. Yeah, you could do Wilson to Watkins or Solanke as well. I think Mitoma to Mbumo would be what I'd do. But yeah, Wilson to Solanke or Watkins. You could also do that and bench Souček to take a hit. But I think I'd play Souček this week against Burnley. I think he could well score. Just my thoughts though. You got a bit of help from Victor there as well. A couple of things to think about there, mate. Hopefully that helps you. Spaghetti and Beans was next. 6216. Blow my nose again. It's doing me head in. Right, I'm gonna try and take this so I don't do it again. But you won't have to see me do it. Don't worry, I'll do it off camera. Right, God, hopefully we're fixed. Spaghetti Beans, you've got a fair few flags here, haven't you, mate? My two transfers this week for you, I think I would do Maddison to Mbumo. And then I would do Dan Burn to Lascelles. And then just bench Lascelles. That would be my two moves I would make with this team. So I'd start, imagine Maddison as Mbumo. I'd start Mbumo over Archer. Stick Archer first on my bench. Then I'd have Lascelles as, maybe start Lascelles over Simicas actually if you fancied him. And then if Bowen doesn't play, you got Archer coming in. And then if, well, all your defenders will play, I think. But if Cash doesn't play, you'll have Simicas coming in. I think that's what I'd do with your two frees there, mate. If you could want to do Bird to Saliba and you can afford it, yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, do it. That sounds good to me. Yeah, I like it. Ben's team is called Andrew Tate. Please don't cancel me. I know he's not very liked by the YouTube gods. Okay, Ben's team. I would do that. And then I just do Mitoma to Mbumo and roll with this team. Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Mitoma to Mbumo. Lovely. That's all I do, Ben. Nice and easy, I think. Kindoichi. I don't know if that's correct, but we'll have a look. This is a bit of a head scratcher. Although, to be honest, with your 2 frees, it's like, it's all right, I guess. I think I'd do Douglas Luiz to Cole Palmer, though. I think I would do that. I'm on mute. Sorry, everyone. I wasn't on mute then for blowing my nose. Apologies. I'd start Bowen over Archer with your team, mate. And then I would do Bruno Fernandes to Saka. I was just saying when I was on mute, I've been sneezing for an hour and a half and it hasn't gone away. But I could open my window in the hopes that that cleans the air in here. But it is -1 degrees Celsius in the UK. I'm going to try it. Ooh, that is cold. That is cold, baby. Christ. So yeah, Luke, that's what I'd do with your team. I wouldn't captain Anderson, I've got to say. I just think I'd go Haaland. I might be the first deadline streamer to put on a puffer jacket while I stream. Right. Jam toaster. Interestingly, Jam Toaster, I can't find your team. Apparently that ID doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't say it exists, I'm afraid. I'll go back to yours, mate. Timmy, 634 9127. Oh, it stopped working again. I know what's happened. It's just decided to stop working again. So I'm back just in time for a trumpet. Exactly. Obviously, I do get the Mickey taken out of me for how I do that. This site is called Draft Hound, mate. There's a link in the description, I believe, of the stream. Check it out. I am quite thirsty. I've been talking for an hour and a half. and sneezing like a madman. So if you don't mind, I'm going to take 2 minutes, fill up my coffee, and I'll be back. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick coffee break if that's all right. Feel free to leave if you've had enough, but I'll be back in 2 minutes to carry on. So yeah, I'm just going to take a quick break if that's all right. Be back in a sec. I'm back. Bosh. There we go. Got a new coffee. I don't know if I've shown you this mug before, but it was not a gift. I got given it by my girlfriend's, it used to belong to my girlfriend's brother. We got it from a holiday in Nepal. It's got a really good slogan on it and a Gurkha knife. So that's quite cool. And by the way, these are pretty excellent. Little protein oat bite from Lidl. So I'm gonna have a snack on stream if that's allowed. I think I caught up with everyone's. Draft Hound stopped working, didn't it? That's why I stopped. We got through a fair few amount of teams though, didn't we? I'm gonna go back to mine for a second. Do we have any Bowen news, I guess is the question to ask. We'll have a look on Twitter for any Bowen news. Bro, I swear every office I've ever been to, someone has a periodic table mug. Sorry to hear the news that your mug got broken, Victor. Your girlfriend should definitely repay you with buying you a new mug. It just happens, doesn't it? Sometimes mugs get broken. It's just part of the game. Oh, we can't show that. That just popped up on my Twitter feed. Blimey, lads. Hey, one thing I will say, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it's my own product, right? but it's not really my product. I don't have a factory that makes mugs, right? So the spread shop links that I do have, I would say, unfortunately, they aren't cheap. I think it's about £15 for a golden goal mug. Now, obviously, for a mug, it's quite expensive, but it's the cheapest option I could find for a company that would make me a custom mug. So, yeah, apologies that it's a little bit pricey. I can't really do anything about that. So, yeah, there's no pressure to buy it if you don't want to, but it would look good. Yeah, Ben, I'll have a look at your fan team. Not a problem. If you tweet it to me rather than DM it to me, so I don't have to open my DMs on Twitter, I'll have a look. Oh, what a lovely guy. Cheers, Ben. My job interview tweet did all right. Look at that. Hopefully none of my employer hasn't read it, but it could have been an internal interview. Who knows? I'm not going to reveal the details of it, other than how it went. All right, Ben, I'll have a look. I guess the two players in there that I don't particularly like, there's three. Matoma and Bruno and Szoboszlai. I don't really like either of them. You have to get Matoma out, I think. I would personally keep Bruno for this week. Just because he's going to play. He's going to play the 90. But it depends how many transfers you have. I think the rest of the team, I would probably get rid of Szoboszlai ahead of Bruno. And then Matoma's the guaranteed transfer out. I'd go for Mbumo, Son, or Eze, depending on which one you fancy out of that lot. He does have 3 crack. Yeah. Does Szoboszlai play 90 as well? The FPL points are very similar, Victor. The only thing that's different about Fan Team is you get different bonus points. So you get extra points for a player playing 90 minutes, and you get half a point per shot on target, which is quite helpful. And it's a bit more fair and reasonable than the FPL bonus point system. But one thing I will say about Fan Team is that it is gambling. You have to pay, well, apart from this Bet365 game, where you still have to make, obviously, a Bet365 betting account to play it. But Fan Team is gambling. So I am quite cautious about how much I promote it on this channel. But if someone asks me for some advice on their team on a deadline stream, I'm going to have a look at it. And I'll share my team as well. But yeah, I'm just careful how I promote it because it is gambling. And I don't particularly like gambling too much. This is obviously a personal thing, but on my personal moral compass, I see fantasy football season-long games as the least sort of gambling that you can do, right? Because you have quite a bit of control over the outcome. It's not like just slapping a bet on a single game and hoping for an outcome. You know, you can hedge bets against your performance over the season. I'd do Matoma to Mbumo, Eze, or Son, Ben, and I'd roll the other transfer. Good for you, Victor. I also have stocks. Dakshin, interview went as well as I could have really asked, thank you. I don't mean, I've said this already, I don't mean to sound cocky, but yeah, hopefully it doesn't come across that way. But the job was, I was approached on LinkedIn by a recruiter about the job. I don't know if you're in the LinkedIn world, you'll probably get messages about jobs. And it looked really good. And then I just asked a few more questions about it. well, number one, it took me an hour to drive to their office from my flat for the interview. And I went to the office at a time when traffic was low, so it wasn't even in rush hour. And it took me an hour to get there. So that wasn't great. And then they told me that I'd be in the office 3 days a week. So that's 3 days where I'd have a 2-hour round trip commute. What else? Oh, and the working hours were more than my current job as well. So I'd have to work more hours, spend longer in the car. Exactly. And that would also mean, the thing is, right, I'd be in the car, sitting in the car, stuck in traffic thinking, I could be making a YouTube video at the moment, or I could be doing some YouTube graphics or going live and talking to my subscribers and stuff. So yeah, I don't think if it's offered, well, obviously I haven't been offered the job, right? I've just had an interview that I thought went well. So we'll see if I'm offered it, but based on all that, I think it's probably best to say no, isn't it? I was listening to a podcast last night. Sorry for the random non-FPL chat. I was listening to a podcast last night. Modern Wisdom, by the way, I'd absolutely recommend listening to that. Chris Williamson is an absolute G. But he was saying one of the biggest factors to someone's genuine life satisfaction is the length of time they spend commuting to work every day. That's one of the major factors that attribute to someone's happiness, right? So if I'm taking a job, well, currently I work from home most days, right? If I take a job that is a 2-hour round trip commute, then I think that might reduce my happiness. I'm a project manager, mate. This job was called, I won't say which company it's for. I'm a project manager at the moment, and it was a similar sort of job that I was applying for, just slightly more senior for a little bit more money. So I'd be looking after slightly bigger, more complex products and projects than what I do currently. And I don't think it sounds too cocky to say, because it's not like I said it when I made my YouTube video about giving people FPL YouTube tips and stuff. I don't do this. Well, I didn't do it originally for money, but obviously I am receiving a little bit of cash from YouTube now, and I just really enjoy it. Right, every free second I get, pretty much, I spend doing YouTube graphics or researching FPL or thinking about what to do for my next YouTube video, etc. Right. I really do see this as something I want to spend a lot more time in. So, a job that takes away from that, I wouldn't really like. I want to try and invest as much as possible into this channel, both money-wise. I want to buy a new camera, hoping to do that around Christmas time. Just spend more and more time making videos, basically. And I wouldn't want is to take a job where I had YouTube distracting me from it as well. At the moment, I've got a really good balance where, I put a lot of effort into my YouTube channel, but that doesn't detract at all from the effort that I give to my employer. So I'm not left like feeling guilty that I'm doing YouTube work at the same time as the working day. That doesn't happen. Anyway, I'll stop rambling about my life now. Thank you, Victor, mate. You'd be welcome in my team anytime. What do you guys reckon on this team? Would you start Szoboszlai, Cash, or Udogi? What would you do here? Just think of it as FPL. Thank you, Dakshin, mate. And also please don't take this comment the wrong way, but it's like the natural progression for a YouTuber, right? Based on the fact that I've been managing projects and I do a bit of charity work. I'm a trustee of a charity as well, which is basically like an executive on an executive board at a charity. All of that management, I think, bodes quite well to maybe running a business in the future. And obviously, I think it's fair to dream, right, and have ambitions. I don't think it's ridiculous to suggest something like this, but the natural progression for a YouTuber, right? Because I do all this work by myself, so all the graphics, all the editing, etc., I do by myself. The natural progression is when you earn enough revenue from a YouTube channel, you can hire an editor, hire a professional to do your graphics for you, and then you sort of get a small team that work for you to make your videos. I think all of those things together, I think the skills I have currently would lead well to having like a make a business out of a YouTube channel, basically, if all of that makes sense. So that's potentially a future plan. But right now, all I need to focus on is enjoying the process of making videos, which is what I'm doing now. I think, Victor, it's almost essential to do that. I remember there were bits in my life where parts of, well, it's going to sound really deep and dark, but there were parts of my life where I was like really struggling with like just being like really anxious all the time. And I found that was mainly because I didn't have like any direction. Like I woke up in the morning and I didn't have anything like that I needed to do, if that made sense, or anything that meant enough to me that I needed to do it. So yeah, having this YouTube channel, amongst other hobbies that I have, really give me a reason, along with a job, of course. But a job isn't everything. All of that gives me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, right? That's like the essential thing to life. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And of course, Victor and Alexandru, by being members, you are supporting my dreams. So I'm very, very grateful for your friendship and membership. Thank you, chaps. I really appreciate it. And hopefully it's a mutually beneficial thing for you too. That's the whole point of it, right? We all benefit. I'll stop rambling now. People are asking me questions. Opinions on Mitoma and Son out for Martinelli and Bowen. I don't like it. I just do Mitoma out for I just do Mitoma to Mbumo. Bench Palmer or Archer? I'd bench Archer. Hwang to Palmer? Hwang's got Fulham, hasn't he? So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'd probably do it because Hwang, I don't think Gary O'Neill said in his press conference that he wasn't back with the Wolves squad yet. So I'd probably go Palmer. I would bench Potar, I would bench Simikas and Baldock. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. Never too old to learn, by the way, Alexandra. That's what I'd say. I guess you're probably older than me, but never stop learning. But I guess studying can be a bit of an age thing. Oh, Darwin's starting, by the way. If anyone wants to know. Yeah, I think my answer to that, it depends, Dakshin, what your other options are. Just going to check what those 2 Twitter messages say, unless anyone sent me a leak or anything. Edouard. Oh, I'd start Edouard. Definitely start Edouard against Luton. 100%. Without question. I think Liverpool definitely concede today. I'd also say with one thing I have learned since I've done a few like professional qualifications since I finished school, learning is learning isn't a skill, but studying really is a skill. Like the ability to sit in a classroom, take in information, remember it, and then write it down in an exam is definitely a skill. And if you spend a few years not doing that, you can definitely lose the edge on that skill, as I have found. So yeah, you definitely lose your touch as such, I guess. I just want some Bowen news. This is the predicted Man City lineup. Luke has changed it. He's gone Doku over Grealish. Yeah, got you, Alexandru. Got you, mate. Bloody hell, Captain. What was that? That was an oat that fell out of my mouth. That was disgusting. I'm so sorry. An oat just fell out of my mouth. Horrible. Sorry that you had to see that. I hope I got away with that and no one actually noticed. I don't know. I'm going to pretend it didn't happen because we're all human. Wait, Aguero. Aguero's wearing a Man City kit as a racing suit. By the way, Bristol City, I'll be going. We've got Middlesbrough at Ashton Gate today, so I shall be wandering down for that one. I'd probably sell Matoma for Mbumo. Mbumo would be my my top target, I reckon. FPL Focal, it looks like he has Hasbulla on his stream. So I can't really beat Hasbulla, I'm afraid. So no complaints if you'd rather watch Focal, to be honest. He's got he's got Hasbulla on his stream. Bro, when I did, even like, well, in the UK, you probably don't have an in-depth understanding of the UK education system coming from Denmark. But when I was, well, GCSEs in the UK is something you do aged 15 or 16. And I did chemistry as a GCSE. And one of the things we had to do as part of that, this is probably like the most basic thing you can do in your choice of subject. But it was the maths you have to do when you add elements or molecules together to make a compound or something like that. So when you have like the element and then the number of, I think it's the number of protons and neutrons, something like that. If that is chemistry, I think it is. You had to add the elements together and stuff. I found that so complicated. It might have been physics rather than chemistry. But yeah, to remember all that, I found it really tough. But yeah, if I respect that you are good at that because I was rubbish. And you can be very useful to pretty much anyone. Everyone's looking for new materials engineering and stuff like that. So it's definitely a skill that will land you some employment. In fact, I've got one of the lads that I do swimming with is working for a small startup, and he's got a chemical engineering where he did chemistry at university, and he's developing new materials, doing material science and stuff like that. Yeah, he's really enjoying it. And obviously, it's rude to ask someone how much they earn, but he is looking, by the sounds of it, to buy a flat in Bristol. So that's not cheap to do, by the way. So that would suggest to me that he's earning a very reasonable salary from doing that. Holy wow! Studying is free. Incredible. It technically is free in the UK, but you get a loan. You have to do a student loan. But to be fair, a lot of my mates barely pay anything back in their student loan. I don't think it's private information because it's what? I think my girlfriend said her student loan payment this month was about £6. So, nothing. You don't really notice that. But you do have a debt against your name, I guess, regardless. I'd say that, yeah, there's big bucks in finance as well. You can just get involved in finance. be a middleman in money transfers, that's a place where you can make money as well. I just find finance so boring. Chances on Bristol winning this week, I reckon, are 50-50. I think Middlesbrough under Michael Carrick are really good. But I'd also say Bristol City at home, now we've got a lot of injured players back, are also pretty good. So I reckon we're very evenly matched. So yeah, I'd honestly say it's 50-50. I can't call our result today. We also have a new manager, but the new manager has had 2 weeks over international break to work with most of the team. I think we had 3 players out on international break, so obviously that's a large portion of the squad that were around. So he's had good time to work with the players, get his tactics across. In fact, I'll show you what he's been doing. If it works. I think United lose this week. I really do. Basically, the new manager has painted lines in the training pitch. I don't think it'll show, to be fair. That was the account that retweeted it, I think. Yeah, there we go. There it is. That's what he's done with our training pitch over the week. If you can see that, he's drawn loads of segments and lines and passing lanes, etc., which I thought was quite cool. Obviously, it doesn't mean much. It's lines on a pitch, right? But it suggests that he's doing good work, tactical work with the team. The one bit of news I've seen is that Darwin Núñez plays. That's all I've seen so far. I think I'm done with the team reviews now, if that's okay. I've looked at about 25 different teams, I reckon. Sorry, Ben. And the site wasn't working the last time I checked. So I think we'll call an end to the team reviews now, if that's okay. Bro, I played five-a-side this week as well. I've started playing five-a-side with my mates. I'm terrible at football, by the way. Absolutely terrible at it. So I went in goal for a half, and I conceded 2 goals through my legs as a keeper. And it was so frustrating because there was just nothing I could do about it. Sometimes, goals that go through your legs are so painful, but there's not much you can do about it. What can I say? Terrible goalkeeper, indeed. Oh man, I can't read it. Mr. Blanky, I wish I could read your message. I'm guessing that's Gahey under the heart there. Oh, there we go. I would take a -4 for Matoma. I think one of Gahey, one of James or Simicast won't play, and I don't think either of them keep a clean sheet this week. I didn't get nutmegged by Núñez. I got nutmegged by some random lad from Bristol instead. 2 random lads from Bristol. It happened twice. And also, I don't know if you're saying Núñez the GOAT sarcastically or not, but I do think Darwin Núñez is an awesome player. As a defender, if you were tasked with being a one-on-one marker of Darwin Núñez, you'd be scared. He is so good and such a handful. Look at my guy, FPL Pricey, looking like a stud. What a stud. They're quite nice trousers, aren't they? Clever advert that from Twitter. I quite like them trousers. What do we reckon? They're alright, aren't they? Oh, they're good, this Be Inspired lot, look. Stuck another ad at me. I'm going to click. I do quite like those trousers. We're distracted now. We're looking at trousers. I'll go on Twitter. Let's see what trousers they got. Cyber Week's now live. Oh, they're 35 quid though. We'll have a look in slower time. Good for you, Victor. To be fair, I do need a new pair of trousers. Friday payday. Mr. Negan there has had a fat Chinese, by the looks of it. Oh, I need to look at what my transfer is in FPL review, don't I? Oh, and we got to do a captaincy spin the wheel. See what my team's saying in FPL review. Is it sad that I remember my FPL ID off by heart now? It's because I love this game. Transfer solver, please. Let me know what I need to do to my team. Tell you what, Gordon to Mbumo. Gordon to Mbumo does feel quite nice. I won't lie to you. I don't mind that. Is that really worth it? Gordon to Mbumo. I do quite like it. I quite like that. But he does blank in 18. That is the only problem. I think I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. It does feel a bit of a luxury one. Come on, you Reds. Brisky, good to see you, mate. It's been a while since you've been in one of my streams. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well. That's a nice looking bolognese, that. Oh, that's a tasty to eat. Tommy Fury and Chris Brown. That's a wholesome little bit, that. Yeah, I'm looking at team news, mate. I'm looking. I think that's me. Bowen has fluid on his knee, which is basically short for I don't know how long he's out for. He could play this weekend. He could be out for a week. I don't know. I played Diaby. He's a much more dangerous player than Archer is. And I think Tottenham are weak defensively without. I'm just going to do my fan team transfers if I've got any to make. Oh, that's the wrong screen. It's my Sky Fantasy Football screen. I've not done that for a while. There we go. Just going to log into a fan team and do that team a sec. I do have 2 free transfers. I've got Bowen in there, look. Feels like he's stinking the place out a little bit, doesn't it? I think I'm just going to roll with it. Simicast or Lamina. Let Lamina come in, I think. Haaland captain. And my captain this week is going to be Haaland, mate. I'm not going to make a fan team transfer. Just going to roll with the punches. What? That's annoying. Why has it done that? Bloody frozen. So I'm just mucking about with my fan team a sec. Bear with. It's been funny and not loading Simicast. There we go. There's my fan team sorted. I'm just going to log into Sky as well. Oh. Just going to sort out my Sky teams. Yeah, mate, I know I had Craig Dawson. He was super duper cheap, and I didn't think he was that bad of an option, I've got to be honest with you. Do we think Nketiah plays? Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong. Here's my Sky team. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. What I was going to do, I don't have enough for Nketiah to Van Dijk. I was going to do Nketiah to Palmer. That's what I was going to do. Do I need to do that today? Yeah, I do. Nketiah to Palmer it is. If Palmer doesn't score, so be it. I'm going to bring Palmer in. I wanted to do that. Just because he's such a good option. I just don't think Nketiah plays. Joke's on me. Nketiah starts and scores. I'm gonna crack Palmer in both Sky teams. Captains have got to be set, haven't they? Haaland and Son. Yeah. Haaland and Son. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I've not seen much news other than the fact that Darwin Núñez is starting for Liverpool. I'll just refresh Twitter, but honestly, I've not seen that much news. Look, Victor and Alexander have been heroes in this chat, helping out everyone that I've missed. I appreciate you guys. Do you think I should take a -4 by getting Mbumo and Cole Palmer? No. No. I wouldn't take a hit for that. I'd wait a week, yeah. Do what Alexandru said. I think both... The thing is, both Gordon and Ward-Prowse will play this week. Burnley are the worst team in the league for defending set pieces. Obviously, Ward-Prowse is one of the best set piece takers, and West Ham have some really big men in their team that can score. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Ward-Prowse got a set piece. And Gordon's going to play, so I wouldn't I wouldn't be selling them. I know Mbeumo and Cole Palmer are nice and attractive, but I'd give it another week until you'd have to take a hit, personally. I think we set a record on this stream, by the way, for the most people watching me at once. I had 60, what did we have? Like nearly 70 people in here at one point. That was incredible. Incredible. So thank you, everyone, on this stream. I'm going to wrap things up at 11 o'clock because I've actually got to phone my mum. I haven't spoken to my mum for a week, so I'm going to go speak to her. And then I've got the gym booked at 11:30. And then I've got to get some food in me. I'm going to go to the football. So, yeah, got quarter of an hour to go. And then I'll be off. But, yeah, just if I forget to say, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to have FPL back. When is the next deadline? The next deadline's like midweek, isn't it? Oh, no. It's okay. Phew. It's a late one, though, next week. I might be online. I think I should be. Yeah, I should be online for that. Then Game Week 15 is a Tuesday. Back to Saturday. So yeah, just as a heads up, folks, I will be live streaming next weekend. I was originally planning to be on a swimming competition, but I have problems with my ears. I've not really been in the pool very much, so I don't think a swimming competition's the best idea because I won't be very fit. Game Week 15 I should be okay for, providing I'm not busy doing other things. Game Week 16 should also be sound. Oh no, Game Week 16, apologies, I'm in Paris, so I won't be able to do that. I'll actually be on an aeroplane at the time of that stream. Game Week 17, I think I should be around. 18 should be good. Yeah, so I think I'm probably only going to miss the Game Week 16 deadline stream because I'll be in Paris. That should be good. I say Paris differently every time I say it as well. I haven't seen any Bowen leaks, unfortunately. I'd always say information over that, and I'd rather not take a hit NCK. That'd be my thoughts. But if you really desperately want to make the move, then no worries, Victor. I would want you to miss the stream as well. Please don't. I would want you to miss it if you've got an important exam, mate. Please don't worry about me on a stream. Your exam is far more important. Yep, no Bowen news. 10 minutes to go now. Big ups, Alexandru. Hope Bowen actually goes well for you because he's in all my teams as well. So, yeah. Sorry for the silence, but there's not really much to talk about anymore. I think I've gone for everything. Cheers, Alexandru, mate. Cheers. I was probably saying thank you to the people in the chat rather than me, but yeah, thank you anyway. Sorry, lads, just checking if anything was going on. In my world of social media to see if I had any, what do we call it? Any news, but I don't. No team leaks, nothing. I might call it there, to be honest. I might call it there. I don't think we're going to get any news. I think I'm going to go and phone me mum if that's all right. Haaland plays, apparently, according to FPL Tony. Don't know if he's got team news or not, but yeah. Haaland plays. There we go. Well, that's quite heavy, isn't it? Haaland lineup leak alert. Today I'll be posting if Haaland starts before the deadline. Funny if he doesn't. Right, lads. I reckon that's me. I'm going to go and phone me mum. Sort me washing out and then head to the gym. Head to Bristol City after that. And then go into a house party with my girlfriend this evening. I'd bench Cash. I think Gabrielle's better than Cash this week. Probably. So yeah, I'm going to go back my Saturday if that's all right. Just thank you everyone so much for joining. This has been one of my favourite streams I've done, I think. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I'll try and squeeze a quiz in every week if there are some sensible questions and I have some time to think of them. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. Any suggestions to improve it would be appreciated. And yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. As Victor said, thank you, Victor, Alexandru, Shanya, all me members. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And yeah, I'll be back next Saturday. Yeah, with another deadline stream. So what I'll do, I'll give you a salute. I'll see everyone. Thank you so much, and I'll probably have a video out tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I have to try and buy Glastonbury tickets. So I'll be quite busy between 9 and 10 doing that. But straight afterwards, I'll record a YouTube video and get it up. So, yeah. Big ups, everyone. See you later. Oh, I pressed the wrong screen. See ya.